is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN Sports Betting Network.
Live Bet Sunday underway live from the D, downtown Las Vegas. Welcome into the program. I'm Dustin Swedelson, hanging out with my guy Will Hill for the next 3 hours as we've got you scattered, covered, and smothered across the world of sports. A little bit of baseball. NHL has a new scoring champ. The women's national champ will be crowned before we're off the air today. The men's side of things, we have a national title set. We will preview that all afternoon long. And the NBA, 2 underway, a bunch yet to tip. We'll preview all of that and more over the course of the next 3 hours. Appreciate you joining us on SiriusXM channel 158, YouTube TV, or however you may be consuming VSiN on the VSiN Watch app as well. Will and I, tons of baseball that we'll get to. We got to come out hot and heavy, though, Will, because there are a couple baseball games about to start. I know you and I both have a few plays. The first one being it's Seattle and San Francisco. Will, the Giants are off to one of their best starts since like 2003. Brian Wu is on the bump for the Mariners, minus 102 on his side. Jordan Hicks taking the hill for the San Francisco Giants at minus 118. We've got about 4 minutes until first pitch. When you look at this matchup, the total set at 7, what are you going to do in this game?
I went under 4.5 hits allowed by Brian Wu. One of my favorite pitchers to bet. Underrated, good stuff, good control. I just think still early in the season where these guys are not going to get, into the 100 pitch range for the most part. It's going to be in the 80 to 90 pitch range. So I just think getting 5+ hits against Wu will be tough. So you mentioned a good start here for the Giants. The Mariners, we talked about them a lot last week. Good pitching, just can't hit. Texas, the way that division is shaping up, might be that best team in that division as we might have suspected coming in. So I'm on Wu under 4.5 hits. How about you? Anything you're sweating in this one?
Yeah, I've got a couple plays. Giants won the first 2 games of this series. The 7-1 start is the best start since 03, as I mentioned. Wu very good against the A's. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts. Hicks on the other side. He's a guy that they thought they found something early last year when they converted him from reliever to starter, and he racked up the strikeouts. Then late in the year, things kind of got a little weird with him where they made him a reliever again. He's back starting against Houston. His first start of the year had 6 strikeouts in 6 innings. I'm going to go back to that today. I'm going to go over 5.5 strikeouts at plus money on Jordan Hicks. He's taking on a Mariners lineup, Will, hitting .202. It's embarrassing. 24th in baseball. There's no offense there. Every single night, I'm finding ways to bet on pitchers against the Seattle lineup. They just don't do anything. And also because of that, I think we get a first 5 under 4. I was surprised it was set at 4. I thought it would be 3.5 because I agree with you. I think Brian Wu has a live arm. He's a guy who can limit San Francisco for a little, and I expect absolutely nothing out of the Mariners offense today. So 2 plays, Hicks over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 118, and first 5 under 4 runs in the game. All right, coming up in a few minutes, we've got 4 minutes till this one starts. It's the Cleveland Guardians at the Angels, and this one's kind of interesting from a Tyler Anderson perspective that we can get into. Ortiz on the bump for Cleveland, minus 108. Anderson, minus 112. That total is 9.5. It's the rubber game. Cleveland won on Friday, Angels on Saturday. Ortiz got shelled by San Diego earlier this week. Didn't get through 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned, 4 walks. On the other side, Tyler Anderson, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, 4 strikeouts against St. Louis. Couple notes for this matchup. One, Mike Trout has homered in 3 straight games, so he looks fully healthy. The other one, Jose Ramirez for the Guardians, Will. In his last 10 games at Angel Stadium, a .462 average, 9 homers, 16 ribbies, and a 1,700 OPS. Looking at this matchup, Angels-Guardians, Ortiz v. Anderson. Anything jump out to you?
No, actually watched some of this game last night as all the Duke Houston madness was going on just because I'm a sicko. And I'm sure we will get to that. The Angels roughed up Tanner Bybee, my boy. That's one of my favorite guys to bet on. Him and Gavin Williams, both the past 2 nights. 2 guys I really like to bet on, really like their stuff. And neither of them really pitch well. So maybe it's a team in the Angels that I'm underestimating, looking at differently. So I have that in mind. But nothing for me in this one. See if something pops up live that interests me. How about you? Do you have any plays in this? If you had to play anything, what would you take?
Yeah, I went first 5. First 5, even money on the Angels. I don't trust Ortiz for Cleveland. Cleveland sometimes struggles with left-handed pitching. You look at what Anderson did a year ago for the group in Anaheim, a 3.81 ERA in 31 starts. Ortiz gets knocked around enough, and I think look, the Angels are a bad baseball team, but they have enough legit pros in that lineup where I think they can outscore Cleveland on any night, and with Ortiz pitching for the Guardians, I think you're giving LA a couple runs to play with there. So because of that, I thought even money first 5, that's a play. But I'll tell you this, baseball's wild because you can be so right about something crazy and then so wrong about things that jump out to you that are obvious. Point being, I won 2 bets on first 5s at like plus 130 and plus 165 this morning, and then I lost a couple bets where I was laying numbers. So baseball is such a war of attrition when it comes to finding value, Will. And by the way, I am sweating out another bet. Right before the show started, the Dodgers had 2 on and nobody out. I laid minus 115 in-game with them, down 2 runs. They tied it up. And I believe on that play, the Phillies just took a lead in the 7th. So it's now 8-7 Philly. Doesn't look good for my in-game bet, but I did think the Dodgers bullpen, because it's better than Phillies, I thought they would get through this. Let's see what they call this play, because it looked like a double play ball. Muncy to second. And are they saying he didn't get the out at second? Throw to first? No, out?
No, I think they called him safe at first. I thought naked eye again.
Oh, he's safe at first.
He's
safe. No, that's a good call.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but he was probably safe.
Yeah, he's safe. So, okay, bet's not looking great there, but those are the 2 games that are about to get started. Seattle, San Francisco, Guardians, and the Angels. We've got a lot to come. By the way, the College Basketball Crown Championship later on in the show, they'll tip off around 5:30 Eastern. We'll break that down between Nebraska and Central Florida. We're going to be all over tomorrow's national championship. You're going to have picks. You're going to have insight. We're going to go into the locker rooms from both Houston and Florida with an absolutely loaded guest list for us today. Coming up in about 9 minutes, Josh Inglis, you know him from Covers.com. He's going to talk baseball. We'll also get his thoughts because he does a lot of hockey betting, and he's Canadian. Alexander Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals in a career. What does that mean to a Canadian hockey fan, as Ovi is now your all-time leading scorer in the National Hockey League? David Waters going to check in, give us the Florida Gators perspective, how things went down for them versus Auburn, how they match up against Houston. Iggy Gilbert will join at 5 p.m. Eastern to look at the NBA slate. Most of it set to tip after we're off the air here on Live Bet Sunday. Ryan Monso, he covers the Houston Cougars. Kelvin Sampson, 69 years old. The build of that program to get to the national title game. We'll get the perspective from him. And then Jake Letarski, RotoWire. He's going to preview the national championship with a few bets along the way. Will, jam-packed baseball, though. Lots of baseball happening right now. That's what we're going to see in our window, you and I. We'll get to the college hoops in a little bit. But your Yankees trailing right now to the Pittsburgh Pirates. However, Trent Grisham, who has been red hot to start the year, is at the plate in, it looks like, the 9th inning with 2 outs and 2 on. Can Trent Grisham be your hero?
We got lefty here. The tying run actually in scoring position. He swung the bat well. I'll say no. I don't think he comes through here. How about you? Do you have a feeling he comes through?
I don't know. He's hitting like 450 to start the season. I mean, he's out of control. No one saw this coming. The guy hit like a $190 a year ago.
I've always said for a guy with a 190 batting average, he's got a pretty sweet swing. Like when he connects, it looks good, and he plays a tremendous center field. So glad to see he's getting a little more playing time. I think he's a pretty good player.
I think it's a solid player. The defense makes up for it. If he hits at all, you're talking about a really nice player. And then in Boston, first of 2, Cardinals and Red Sox. St. Louis is up 4-2 right now.
We're about to have a score change in one of these games. According to my app, I might have underestimated Mr. Grisham.
1 run is in. Here comes the other. And the Yankees have tied it up in the 9th with 2 outs. Is it Enrique Iglesias? Trent Grisham can be your hero, baby.
Yes.
Wow.
I never had doubts.
Yeah. You sounded very, very confident in Trent Grisham, who all of a sudden, I mean, look at this pitch. It was a breaking ball. It didn't really hang. It wasn't a bad breaking ball. He just mashed it past the first baseman, and 2 runs in, and just like that, the New York Yankees tied things up. Let's get you a live number. Right now, minus 125. The Yankees are favored. Minus 105 on the Pirates. So just like that, Yankees bats wake up. Pirates got an early lead, rested on it, and the Yankees bullpen was able to limit Pittsburgh throughout the afternoon. And just like that, we are tied up there. Arizona and
Pittsburgh's a bad team, by the way. They stink.
Well,
they have no closer.
Bullpen.
Bednar was a disaster for them. Outside of the Dave Skeens pitch, man, the lineup. Jared Jones is hurt. You never want to count these teams out too early because look at the Mets last year, 0-5, horrible May, horrible April. But boy, the Pirates, that's a team that could be looking at a very long season here.
Yeah, and their ownership is going to bank on the fact that people are going to buy tickets once every fifth day to watch Paul Skeens pitch, and they're going to call it a successful season from a business perspective, from a baseball perspective. I'd say they're failing to capitalize on an opportunity with a generational pitcher to put support around him and make an actual push to be an interesting team. Are you ready to take your sports betting to the next level? Well, the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com is your secret weapon. Since 2011, they've been building trusted relationships with major sports books and sports insiders worldwide. They provide daily updates on what top professional sports bettors and betting groups are wagering on, so you're always ahead of the game. They've just launched a cutting-edge AI betting analyst that provides even more selections and reports, giving you the edge you need to win. The best part, you can check out the Sharp Plays free content anytime. Get real-time betting action reports, alerts, and more through email and X directly from the pros. Plus, explore all of their records, including detailed online logs, right on the website at sharpplays.com. With Sharp Plays, you're joining a team that's never had a losing year. What do you have to lose? Start today and get access to the best betting insights at sharpplays.com. When we return, some baseball plays and a look at the hockey card with Josh Inglis, covers.com.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back at it. This is a Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Dustin Swedelson hanging out with Will Hill. I'm live at the D in downtown Las Vegas. We've got the Women's College Basketball National Championship. UConn up on South Carolina, 36-26. 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. We've got baseball happening everywhere, hockey happening everywhere, and hockey is kind of the big story today as Alexander Ovechkin is now your all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the NHL. He scored .895 to pass Wayne Gretzky, and to talk about that and some strategy when it comes to betting the NHL and Major League Baseball, we're going to welcome in our guy Josh Inglis. You know him from covers.com, at @covers_Josh over on X, and he joins us now via the Progressive guest line. Josh, appreciate you doing this, man. As someone who follows the sport and a Canadian, right, where it just means more. You're kind of the SEC of the up north, right? SEC college football, it just means more. In hockey, in the Canada, it just means more. When you think about Alexander Ovechkin, who was minus 120 to score a goal today, breaking that record, what does it mean to you?
Minus 120 was a pretty good price. He was like minus 165 on the Friday game where, I mean, that was pretty interesting. I thought Chicago might not pull the goalie out of respect when he had to, and they were up. So it was interesting. They didn't put him on the ice for the empty netter, but goes one goal today for Washington, and it's Ovi. And the celebration was awesome. And let's put it into context how good Wayne Gretzky really is, right? Wayne Gretzky isn't known as a finisher, as a goal scorer. No one will touch his point stuff. No one will touch his assist stuff. Gretzky was so good that he held the goal scoring record. And it's amazing to see what Ovi did this year, coming back from a broken leg nonetheless. My rocket ticket to lead the league in goals hurts because he probably could have had 50 this year if he didn't miss any time. But it's incredible to see what's happening in Washington, and it's finished right at the perfect time where it's out of the way, the madness is done, 5 games or 6 games left, and they can go push and try to win that President's Trophy and make a really good push, because I don't think a lot of people are giving Washington a lot of credit or a lot of run here in the playoffs. Florida's a big name, and Florida's starting to fall a bit. So they could make some noise, and they do have a lot of playoff experience. But it's really nice to see the 8 get it, and just in that fashion. And that Selly was just absolutely beautiful.
Josh, betting at the end of any regular season that's as long as the NHL is can be tricky. How do you navigate the last couple weeks of the National Hockey League in terms of your betting?
It is interesting. We're starting to kind of see the playoff situation fizzle out. There's not a lot going on in some of the races, but I've just been betting constantly line mates to get points, and the books have adjusted the prices. We were ahead of it first. We're up over 100 units just over the last 30 days betting 1 unit on line stacks. I mean, if your top line, let's just say in Toronto, Matthews, Marner, and Nyes, they play together 5-on-5. They play together on the power play. The probability of them getting a point together in one play is a lot higher than guys playing on different lines. And it's sad that it took me that long to get that down. But it's become my favorite way to bet hockey, just finding lines. And it's just waiting to see which markets open. And that's an important thing, right? Like, you don't get to bet on every guy to get a point because those markets don't exist. But sometimes the books will open on a sneaky guy that no one's really talking about. He's plus 160 for a point. You put him with his line, all of a sudden, you can get up to like plus 900 for 3 guys to get a point. And it's not really kind of an SGP. You're kind of betting on it to happen in one circumstance. Yes, it's nice when it happens in 2, but getting 3 guys to point in one play is amazing. We've seen it a lot in Dallas with the M&M line in Marchand, Marchment, Duchesne, and Granlund. They're up 24 units over the last 8 games. They're playing today. They're not on the board yet, but there's just these lines that continue to be mispriced. So it's been very profitable.
Josh,
and it's not something I want to carry into the playoffs because things really tighten up, but I'm enjoying it for now.
Yeah, strategy always changes. Both. We're going to do that with the NBA playoffs as well coming up, where a lot of the things you look for in the regular season won't be there, which is why I lean unders when it comes to postseason overall. Josh Inglis is our guest, covers.com, at @covers_Josh on X. So that was strategy for the NHL right now. We're a little over a week and a half into the MLB season. Anything jump out to you that you've learned from your betting thus far in the season?
One thing I've kind of really noticed is, like, leashes are kind of long right now out of the gates. It used to be, okay, they're slow and they haven't really gotten all the way up, but you saw guys in spring training get to 80, 85 pitches, and rule of thumb is plus 15 pitches when you're trying to project something. And in terms of betting against pitchers, all you're betting on is pitch count and then seeing where that goes, and everything kind of falls in place. So we're not at a point now. One of my favorite angles is finding pitchers who overpitched in their previous start and will be underpitched in the next one. And we haven't really seen that yet because guys haven't ramped up. But when you see guys getting up to, he threw 108 pitches, which was a 2-season high, guess what? He's probably going to be limited there to 90 pitches. So those are good angles to hit. One of the easiest ones, I mean, there's so many markets now in baseball and where to go. Just betting on platoon guys. Finding a lefty that's starting and then finding that right-handed bat that doesn't hit right-handed pitching. And all you're betting on, I don't care about the hitter stats. It doesn't mean anything to me who this person is. But you can project for 3 or maybe even 2 plate appearances. That's a great edge. So then we can bet hits. And if maybe that price is too low, then you can go hits, runs, RBIs. There's so many markets that you can adjust it to, but platoon guys. And then at the end of the day, if they don't start, then they don't start, and you carry on, you look for your next one. But pinch hit risk, massive opportunities for under hits and under hits, runs, RBIs.
Josh, we have an odd scenario in this Sunday night baseball game that we will have the first pitch here for in a couple hours. Red Sox and the Cardinals interleague here playing the second half of a doubleheader. Red Sox looks like they're going with a bullpen game. They're laying minus 125. How do you attack this if there's any betting angle here?
We're not sure if it is a bullpen game. I know there's not a lot of markets on it, so I don't know. People are kind of unsure. But Dobbins pitched Tuesday, I believe, in AAA. I think he gave up 3 hits, all home runs, a bunch of walks. But, I mean, the bullpens are busy today. St. Louis's bullpen's really busy. I think they only got, 12 or 13 or 14 outs from their starter. So they're eating it. And Michaelis is a perfect example of a guy that is just such a vet. And he's a hard guy to bet against because you always want to bet against him. But he's such a professional. He's got to throw 95 plus today. He's got to run that pitch count up. We're seeing some of his markets here. He doesn't have a lot of out markets, which are probably where I want to go. But, like, I don't care about his command. I don't. Walks allowed. If I know that he's going to pitch more than he usually does, there's value on that. just in pure volume. Plus 150 over 1.5 walks. The 2.5 earned runs, minus 120. Boston, I mean, that offense looks a lot better now that Rafael Devers is an 0 for 21 to start the season. Campbell looks elite. And hits allowed, 5.5, minus 125. Strikeouts, 3.5, minus 150. You're kind of in a spot where, okay, maybe if Michaelis is asked to pitch a bit more here, maybe you're like over strikeouts, over hits, if you can put them together at your book. But could be a heavy low. But like you said, such a unique situation. And these are the best part about betting, finding these unique situations, because the word unique means tough to price.
He's Josh Inglis. You can follow him over on X at @covers_Josh. Does a great job covering not just Major League Baseball, but also the NHL. And Josh, we always appreciate you doing this, man.
Enjoy your Sunday, gentlemen. Take care. Appreciate it.
Oh, we will.
Thanks, Josh.
We will. By the way, part of the enjoyment of our Sunday, I want to let you know that the VSiN Summer Special is officially here. It's the best deal of the season. For just $59, you'll get VSiN Pro access to everything we do now through August 1st. That's 50% off the regular monthly price. From Augusta to the NFL Draft, MLB, NBA, and NHL playoffs, plus the Kentucky Derby coming up. VSiN Pro has you covered all season long. You'll get all of our expert picks from every single show, including the Masters. I mean, Wes Reynolds' picks alone coming up for this week are worth that price. Exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, plus our Kentucky Derby betting guide and the NFL betting guide when it drops this summer. Every sport, every edge, one price. Get full access now, August 1, for just $59 at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe from now until August 1st. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. Some updates. The New York Yankees in the 10th inning have 2 on and 1 out against the Pirates after forcing that game into extra innings. The Dodgers are in trouble in Philadelphia, possibly about to pick up their second loss of the year. 8th inning, bases loaded for the Phillies, and Philadelphia is up 8-7. And in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers on the road in Oklahoma City lead the Thunder 58-42. But the biggest story is what went on last night, Will, and that's we finally have the national championship set. It's Houston, it's Florida, it's the old vet in Kelvin Sampson versus the young new blood in Todd Golden. We'll look at that game from every angle when we return from the next break, because I think we are going to get an all-time game come Monday night, and we're going to hear from both coaches who pulled off comeback wins yesterday afternoon. That's coming up next. This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Dustin Swedelson, hanging out with Will Hill for the next couple hours here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. An update from the Women's National Championship game. UConn up 50-39, 3:12 to go in the third quarter. This one closed UConn minus 6.5, 134.5 was your total. In game right now, the UConn ladies are laying 11.5. That total is 136 and a hook. That is the big one going on currently. The other big basketball game, the Lakers are up 64-42 on the road in Oklahoma City right now. And the story for us, though, we haven't touched on it yet, Will, is what went down last night. Because I don't know about you, I had Houston plus 650 to win the whole thing. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hedge. I'm going to see if there, because it wasn't life-changing money. Let's let it ride. Let's see if there's an in-game opportunity for me to do something here and get creative. The entire game, I am sitting there on my couch, absolutely annoyed that I didn't put anything down on Duke, that I didn't go money line. I think it was like minus 270 or around there. I didn't have any hedge whatsoever. And I'm like, you know what? I botched it. I'm not going to make money on this ticket. And then the final few minutes of the game happened where Houston mounts just an absolutely miracle comeback. They were down 14 with 8:03 to go. They were down 9 with 2:06 to go. They were down 6 with 34 seconds to go, 3 with 25 to go, and 1 with 19 seconds left. They won an 11-1 run over the final 114. Duke was limited to 2 field goals in the final 13 minutes and none in the final 3. The question is, do you call that an epic comeback by the Cougars, or was that an absolute meltdown from the Blue Devils, Will?
Oh, it's both, but that's absolutely an epic collapse. That is on the short list. Atlanta Falcons 28-3, the Bills Oilers 30. I think that one was 35-3 in the playoffs. Greg Norman in the Masters. I mean, this you're up 6 with 34 seconds left in a game you've dominated in a Final Four game. I mean, think about all the basketball we watched. Up 6 with 34 seconds left. The better team all night. To not be advancing to the championship game is a bitter pill to swallow. And Duke gave it away. I mean, Duke, it's funny. Up 3, and there were a couple different points here where I thought the game was over, and this was just going to be a formality for Duke. I think like a lot of people. There was the trip when it was a 14-point game where Houston got 6 on one possession, and just like that, it was 8. But Duke is inbounding up 3 after the three-pointer, the technical by Houston, which I don't think any of us knew the rule, and they didn't do a great job of explaining, hey, this is a technical, but it's only a one-shot technical. I thought Sterator did a bad job with that because he didn't really explain it properly. One free throw and 2 might have been the difference between winning and losing the game. If it's at 7, maybe Houston has to foul there, but at 3, Houston misses the 3. They get the putback dunk. I thought the 3 was going in to tie it. I thought he was going to splash it. He got a good look, and ironically, I think Duke would have been better off if he made it, and it's tied 32 seconds left. You can pretty much hold for the last shot, and you're either going to win if you're Duke or you're going to overtime. And to think that Houston is able to win it, not only win it, but win it in regulation. Duke just looked like a team. Now it's playing the results, but they look like a team that was not used to playing close games. Even when they had to foul after they missed, when they were down 1, they let 2 or 3 seconds run off the clock before they eventually foul. It's just an epic meltdown. Really, one made field goal in the last 10:30. The better team and just dominated throughout. And Houston just hit enough threes just to stick in the game. And really, Houston wore them out. I thought Duke was out of gas at the end of the game, similar to Auburn, where, man, Houston's physical. They're like a football team. They just beat you down. They wear you down. And Duke had nothing left. And give them credit for another thing. At the 1-point game, and man, we could sit here and talk about this game forever because there are so many different interesting things. They did not foul Knippel, who's a 90-something% free throw shooter. They kind of picked their spots, and they let it go to Proctor. Proctor missed the 1-and-1. And how about this? We see all of these guys. I thought it was a terrible call on flag, by the way. You can't cry too much if you're Duke because you did it to yourself.
Yeah.
That was a horrible call on flag. You can't call that. But the kid Roberts for Houston, a 62% free throw shooter, all the pressure in the world, shooting a 1-and-1, and he hits both of them without touching the rim. Just incredible stuff.
Well, he's also like 30 years old, and that was part of why I liked Houston, was that those are grown men playing for Kelvin Sampson. And Duke, while they have a couple guys who are played a couple seasons in college basketball, still a very young team across the board, and they've just got some old guys on the Houston side of things. And I think the thought when you see a comeback like Houston had is, they chipped away. They didn't chip away. It was like the final 3 minutes. It was just a burst, and all of a sudden, we have a game. No one really felt it was real till about, 45 seconds to go. We're like, okay, Houston might make this interesting, but you just thought that Cooper Flagg with a shot and a chance to win the way he played all night, he'll find a way to get a good look, and he'll get the bucket, and they'll win. Let's hear from the Duke head coach, John Shire, 37 years old, gets his team to the Final Four. What do you have to say about the loss in the postgame?
I mean, it's been a special ride that ended in a heartbreaking way. And frankly, the game, we did what we wanted to do. I thought our guys followed the game plan, controlled the game. We had the lead for 35 minutes. We're winning by 6 with 1:15 to go. And they made plays, and you got to give them a ton of credit. We didn't make those plays, and you go from some of the most special moments in the tournament to the most heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, I mean, they were out-rebounded, especially in the second half as Houston was mounting that comeback. I'm trying to find my notes. Where's my rebounding? Whatever. Either way, out-rebounded Duke by double digits. Most of that coming late in the second half. You could see their legs were a little bit stronger. They were a little bit more physical. And while that call on Flagg, was it a little ticky-tacky? Sure. There was a lot of times where Houston went to the rack, and I thought there was a ton of contact and nothing was called. So it always evens out in the end. Let's hear from Kelvin Sampson, because I think the bigger story to me when it comes to the most likable outcome for this season is 69-year-old Kelvin Sampson getting his due, finally getting over the hump, winning a title, because you look at the build for what he's done at Houston. 2018 gave Houston their first tournament win in 34 years. 2019, they won a school record 33 games. 2021 went to the first Final Four in 34 years, and now they're going to their first national title game for the first time since 1984. This is Kelvin Sampson last night discussing the comeback victory.
Kelvin Sampson, when your team was down by 14 tonight, what were you thinking?
Just hang in there. There's 8 or 9 minutes left, right? I can't remember. And I still think that we were still looking for things. Duke is so good defensively. I mean, they are. Their length across the line. So I think, as a coach, you're always probing and looking at and find a matchup, finding something that'll click. And the thing that we found was putting Emmanuel on the ball.
That was big for them, adjusting defensively, putting Emmanuel Sharp on the basketball. And just like that, Kelvin Sampson, with one of the more impressive roads to a national championship game that we've seen. By the way, that audio courtesy of John Fanta, who does an awesome job for Fox, the Field of 68. But this path for Houston, Will, Gonzaga and Mark Few, Purdue and Matt Painter, Tennessee and Rick Barnes, then Duke, and now Florida next. If they win a title, that's as tough a group to get through to cut down the nets as we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the Ken Palm numbers here. I just had them. I saw the stat too. I think it's 15. The Ken Palm teams they faced were 8, 5, 1, 15 for Purdue. I mean, they have gone through an absolute gauntlet, and then Florida's going to be the number 3 Ken Palm team. So, usually you get a cupcake in round 1. Round 2 is a little harder. They have faced a gauntlet really throughout, and that leads to tomorrow night. I know we'll have plenty of time to talk about it, but do they have anything left? I think the fact that they played the second game where Florida's got the extra 3-4 hours of rest, that game ended, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Houston's game ended at midnight. It was tough. It was physical. It was emotionally and mentally draining. Does that bleed into Monday, into how you feel about the game? It's a fascinating game. It feels dumb to go against Houston. It feels like this is Houston's time. It feels like this is Sampson's time. Man, this Florida team with Clayton is just terrifying to go against right now.
Walter Clayton right now is on a Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier, Mateen Cleaves level of just like, I trust that guy to do the right thing at the right time with the basketball. The shot against Texas Tech, when he brings it back out to hit that three, it is one of the gutsiest checks I've ever seen by a player. To bring it back out, immediately fire the three, and hit nothing but net. I was like, this guy's on a different level right now. You know who else is on a different level?
He's got a little Curry in him. He's got a little Steph Curry in him right now. He really does.
Our friends at First Bet, by the way, are you ready to get in the action with them? They've got you covered. Sign up now to access exclusive promotions and bet on hundreds of thrilling horse races every day, right from your phone or computer. Visit firstbet.com. That's the number one, stbet.com. Use promo code VEASAN200 to score a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today at firstbet.com. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. This is Live Bet Sunday. Some updates across Major League Baseball and the NBA on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into VEASAN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VEASAN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're cruising on here. This is Live Bet Sunday on VEASAN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Dustin Swedelson. That's Will Hill, and we're all over everything from the Women's National Championship in college hoops. We've got baseball across the board. Ovechkin is your all-time goal scorer leader in the history of the NHL. A lot happening right now, but the big story coming off of last night, the national championship is set on the men's side of things in the college basketball national championship. Florida right now is your favorite, -1. Total is 141.5. To help us look at that game and explain how the Gators got here, we're going to welcome in David Waters right now from GatorsBreakdown.com. Follow David over on X at GatorDave_SEC, and we welcome him into the program now. So, David, just to start, this team, before we get into last night, 60-1 on the betting board to win the national championship when the season started. However, Todd Golden has proven to be a bit of a mastermind when it comes to the X's and O's. When you look at the journey that Florida has gone on this year, can you kind of tell the story for us and what stands out to you?
Yeah, you mentioned those preseason odds there. Florida was picked 6th, I believe, in the preseason in the SEC. So certainly a team that, like, I thought they were better than that. Now, still, I would have put them behind Auburn and Alabama and Tennessee from what we've seen in the SEC in recent years. But I thought 6 was a little bit too low there for this Gator team, and bringing back Walter Clayton and letting him now play point guard, bring in Elijah Martin from the transfer portal too, had that Final Four experience there with FAU, and some good young pieces, of course. Will Richard as another transfer, and it brought those 3 guards in. I was like, I think with those 3 guards, they're probably a little bit better than 6 in the SEC, and it proved that. They went through non-conference play undefeated. They lost their first SEC game. They had to go to Rupp Arena and play Kentucky. Kentucky played one of their best games of the season. They started SEC play out with a loss, but then, fought through so many injuries throughout the season. Clayton goes down for a little while. They were able to overcome that. Elijah Martin was out for a little while. They beat Auburn on the road there without Elijah Martin, able to do it again in the Final Four. So able to overcome a lot of injuries. They're just a really deep team. And I think credit to Todd Golden, a young mind in this world of college basketball right now, and able to figure it out. And he's able to figure it out. Gets this job 3 seasons ago in the midst of transfer portal and NIL and roster just building is at an all-time craziness in college athletics. And as a young coach, he's able to figure it out and put this team together. So it's a good mix of transfers. It's a good mix of recruiting. Florida was the only team in the Final Four that didn't have a top 100 recruit. So for this team and the way he's able to put it together, a testament to him for just figuring out all the right pieces.
David, as the unthinkable is unfolding last night around midnight and Duke is folding against Houston, Houston ultimately wins. What are you thinking? What are Gator fans thinking? I know the players and coaches, they'll never admit who they want to play, who they don't want to play. But what was some of the reaction, as I'm sure you, like most of us, thought we were looking at a Duke-Florida national championship game until those final couple minutes?
Yeah, certainly the way it looked. And I've had this conversation with Gator fans, and it's like, it would be a little more special if you were to beat Duke, the team that is, college basketball royalty, a blue blood there in college basketball. It doesn't matter. You want to win a title. But, yeah, I think the way Duke was playing going into last night, you did see an easier path maybe if Houston could get the upset. But, you could turn that back around. Okay, Houston just proved they could beat Duke. So would it be even easier, or would it be any easier to go up against Houston, who plays really good defense? And I think that's when you look at the way Florida hasn't played their best. That could be a good or bad thing so far in this NCAA tournament. But I think when you look at it is Houston plays really good defense, and Florida uncharacteristically turning the ball over a lot in this tournament. So I think that's the matchup you start looking out for. But, yeah, as the clock was winding down, you just couldn't believe what was happening with Duke just giving up that lead. So I think you do breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. You don't play the best player in college basketball, though, Walter Clayton's the best player in the last couple of weeks. But you didn't want to really play Cooper Flag, I don't think, as far as having a choice. But now when you look at it, Florida, Houston, I think makes for some pretty good storylines.
David Waters is our guest. GatorsBreakdown.com is the website, at GatorDave_SEC. He joins us on the Progressive guest line. Maybe we can go back a few steps even, because Todd Golden, 39 years old, he's hired in 2022. What do you remember about him being hired and what the reaction was to him coming to Gainesville, where Billy Donovan proved you can win there if you do it the right way? But he didn't really have ties to that area. He's a guy from Phoenix, Arizona. He played at St. Mary's. He did coach in the SEC under Bruce Pearl at Auburn. But what was the thought when people saw that Golden was the hire, a super young hire, where he's now just 39 years old?
Yeah, let's not forget, this was the hire made around the same time Scott Strickland, the AD at Florida, hires Billy Napier on the football side, a young up-and-comer. So you were looking at, hey, the two major sports that can prove they can win at the highest level are hiring these up-and-comer coaches. So that I think, Florida, let's not forget Mike White. Now, this was him walking out of the Florida job and going to Georgia because of the pressure that Florida fans weren't willing to to settle with, and it got to Mike White a bit. So he takes his coaching job to Georgia, and it's kind of the same thing we've seen there from Mike White when his time at Florida. But then Todd Golden's the name that gets hired, and it's just like they're just going the up and comer route. Florida's a big program. Why are they going the young up and comer route again? Well, it's Scott Strickland had a conversation with Bruce Pearl, as you mentioned. They had that connection there with Todd Golden and Bruce Pearl, and certainly nailed this one. And I think there was a lot of pressure on Scott Strickland to nail it, given football wasn't winning, basketball wasn't winning, and just a new age way of of looking at where this game is going. Todd Golden is really analytic driven. I mean, 2 of his assistants now have gotten head jobs off this season at Florida, so that's a testament to him and the staff he's built as well. But yeah, you go and ask Gator Nation, it was a lot of, we don't really know who this guy is. We're hoping for the best. and on the fan side of things, you kind of put some orange and blue glasses on and say, yeah, okay, this is going to work out. But you probably had some doubts with going with the up-and-comer, not really big known name.
David, let's turn the page to Monday night. It's a fascinating game. It's a very tricky game to handicap here. The 2 times Florida has played with only 1 day to prep, Texas Tech and UConn. Could have, maybe should have lost both of them. Do you think there's anything to that? And who do you like here on Monday night?
I'll be biased and go with the Gators. The way I look at this team is, to me, it's hard. I mentioned those guards that Florida have with Walter Clayton and Will Richard and Elijah Martin. And to me, I think it's hard to keep all 3 of those guys down. We've seen the way Walter Clayton has just taken over games lately and the way he's been able to play it. I mentioned, Houston, a great defensive team. So I certainly think if there's going to be a team that can slow down Florida even more than in those 2 matchups than we saw, it's probably going to be a team like Houston. But, there's something about this Gator team that they just keep finding a way to break through. And it really is, Florida's – both teams, are top 10 in KenPom on both sides of the ball. But Florida a little bit more elite on offense, Houston a little bit more elite on defense. So I think it's a really good battle of contrast here. And for Florida, as I said, haven't really played their best in this tournament. They still find themselves in the national title game right now. So I think when you're Florida, they haven't been able to go those fast break points yet. And I think that was what separated again against Auburn in the second half of that game. So if Florida can get Houston running, I really like Florida's chances here. Florida can play good defense as well. So I think, defense for both ends and those second chance points always come in handy as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. They were playing the best basketball of anyone in the country coming into the tournament, but actually haven't kept that going, and we know what they're capable of. So that was a great point and a great spot. He's David Waters, GatorsBreakdown.com, and at @GatorDave_SEC over on X. Thanks for doing this, man. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Gators victory come Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
And he joined us via the Progressive guest line. Look, you're probably not great at betting every sport. Well, then you should let Rhythm help you out. The best bettors use data to get ahead, so why not put AI to work for you? Rhythm is an app that helps you build personalized betting models, analyze trends, and make sharper picks for every game. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or looking for an edge, Rhythm has you covered with AI-backed projections and insight. Right now, you can get 50% off an annual core subscription with promo code VSiN, or 25% off your first month with promo code HOOPS25. Head over to rhythm.com today. That's RITHMM.com. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. This Gators-Houston matchup, Will, for me, I have the futures ticket on Houston. I would tell you I don't know what to make of it. I think it's really interesting because the best player on the floor is the Gators. From an X's and O's perspective, I trust Florida to have an offense. I don't know what I'm getting offensively from Houston, and that has me a bit concerned about that ticket.
Oh, it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. It's a very even game. I do think, and we said this about Houston and Duke, and it played out depending on when you got the number. If you like Houston, you probably like the under. If you like Florida, you probably like the over. I think Florida wants this game in the 80s, and if it gets there, it favors Florida. And if you're Houston, you want the winning score to be something like 63, 64 points. So should be a lot of fun. We got time to talk about it, but I'm initially leaning Gators here.
Third quarter about to get underway in Oklahoma City. The Lakers, a 78-56 lead on the road, laying 11.5 in the second half. Or no, that's got to be for the game. Laying 11.5 in the game right now. We'll look at the rest of the NBA slate. Iggy Gilbert checking in on the other side of the break of Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.